Hello, and welcome. Take a deep breath. Relax your mind and get ready to listen. This is your English listening practice. Speak slowly in your mind. Let's begin. Have you ever loved someone and then had to let them go? Not because you wanted to, but because you had no other choice? Today, I want to share something very personal, a story about love and heartbreak. My breakup story. It started very simply. We met on a quiet afternoon. Nothing felt special at first, just a normal conversation. A few smiles and soft laughter. But slowly, things began to change. We started talking every day. Good morning messages, late night conversations, sharing small details about our lives. It felt easy. It felt comfortable. It felt right. I remember the first time I realized I was falling in love.
It wasn't a big moment. There were no fireworks, no dramatic scene. It was something small. I was having a bad day, and he stayed with me, listening quietly, making me feel understood. In that moment, I felt safe, and that's when I knew this was not just friendship anymore. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. We created memories together, simple moments, but very meaningful. Walking together, sharing food, laughing at silly things, and sometimes just sitting in silence. That silence was never uncomfortable. It was peaceful. But slowly, something began to change. At first, it was hard to notice. The messages became shorter, the calls became less frequent, the laughter felt a little forced. I told myself, maybe he is just busy. Maybe I am overthinking. So I stayed quiet. But deep inside, I could feel it. Something was not the same anymore. The warmth was fading. The connection felt distant. And the hardest part was, he was still there, but not really present. One evening, I finally asked, "Is everything okay?" There was a long pause, and in that silence, I already knew the answer. He said, "I think we've changed." Simple words, but they felt very heavy. I didn't know what to say. My heart was beating fast, but my voice was quiet. I asked, "Do you still love me?" Another silence, and then a soft, painful answer. "I don't know." That moment felt like everything stopped. All the memories, all the feelings, all the dreams we had, they were still there. But suddenly, they felt so far away. We talked for a long time that night. Not with anger, not with blame, just sadness. We both knew something had broken, and we didn't know how to fix it. Sometimes love doesn't end suddenly. It slowly fades, like the light of the evening sun. And no matter how much you try, you cannot bring it back. In the end, we made a decision. A quiet, painful decision. To let each other go. There was no dramatic goodbye.
No shouting. No tears in front of each other. Just a soft, take care. But later, when I was alone, everything came out. The tears, the memories, the questions. I kept asking myself, what went wrong? Could I have done something better? Why did it end? Those days were very difficult. Everything reminded me of him. Songs, places, even small things like messages on my phone. I felt empty. But slowly, very slowly, I started to understand something important. Not all love stories are meant to last forever. Some people come into our lives to teach us something, to show us what love feels like. And sometimes, what letting go feels like. I realized it was not a failure. It was a chapter that made me stronger, more aware, and more honest with myself. I learned to sit with my feelings, to accept the pain, instead of running away from it. I started taking care of myself again, going for walks, listening to music, spending time with people who care about me. And one day, I noticed something. The pain was still there, but it was softer. It didn't control me anymore. I could finally smile without thinking about the past. I could breathe without feeling heavy. And most importantly, I learned how to love myself again. Breakups are never easy. They hurt deeply, and they take time to heal. But they also help us grow. They teach us strength, patience, and self-worth. So, if you are going through a breakup right now, I want you to remember this. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to miss someone. But don't forget, you will heal. You will feel better. And one day, you will smile again. Now take a deep breath. Thank you for listening. Relax your mind and be proud of yourself for learning English step by step. See you in the next episode.